If you battle with chronic fatigue syndrome, there's a good chance by now that you've seen a few videos pop up talking about the benefits of brain retraining and how it could possibly help cure you of your symptoms. I recently signed up for one of these courses because I figured, why not? Let's give it a shot. So today I'm going to talk about my expectations, what I'm looking forward to about this course, and what I understand about it as of right now. But first, greetings, my fellow decrepits, invalids, and other sick people. I hope you're doing well today and that you're fighting the good fight. Please welcome back to the Fitness with an Illness YouTube channel. My name is Ryan, and here on this channel, we like to talk about fitness, chronic illness, and how to maintain some level of fitness with that chronic illness. In today's video, we are going to be talking about brain retraining for chronic fatigue syndrome. If any of those things sound at all interesting to you, I would really appreciate it if you gave a smack to that like button, a ring-a-ding-ding to that notification bell, and maybe even consider subscribing and sharing this content with your family and friends. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so like I said in my intro, I recently signed up for a brain retraining course. I signed up for the course offered by Raylan Agel, and I want to be very clear up front, she is not sponsoring this video, supporting it anyway. She honestly doesn't even know I exist probably at this point. I'm so new in the course, and my channel is really small, so she has no idea that I'm doing this, so this is just me giving my honest thoughts as I go into it. The only reason I really thought I would mention her name was so that if you are battling with chronic fatigue syndrome and you were at all interested in trying one that I am also trying, then that is where I am going through the course, is through Raylan's course. But why did I choose her course? Well, since battling with chronic fatigue syndrome, I have seen countless YouTubers talk about all kinds of different programs or skill sets or techniques that you could try that are going to help cure you of your symptoms. So in my search for the holy grail of remedies for chronic fatigue syndrome, I landed at Raylan's channel, and she has now done over 200 interviews on her channel, interviewing people who have overcome their chronic fatigue syndrome. And according to her, the common denominator in most of the recovery stories comes from people who gave brain retraining a shot. And after I found myself relating to Raylan's story and the stories of some of her interviewees, I kept hearing this theme of brain retraining come up, and I knew in the back of my mind that she had a course where she went into brain retraining. And so the longer I thought about it, I was like, you know what, maybe I should just give this a try and see what happens. Now, if I'm being honest, I have a little bit of skepticism about this course and about brain retraining, primarily because I've seen countless YouTubers who have recovered from chronic fatigue syndrome offer some kind of paid course in order for you to overcome your illness. So anytime money is involved, I start to get a little bit skeptical. Now, with that said, Raylan has the cheapest course that I was able to find. Her course goes for $300 at the time of this recording, which to me seemed much more reasonable compared to some of the other YouTubers I saw who were offering courses for chronic fatigue, ranging anywhere between $800, $1,000, and some even well beyond that. Because I guess in my mind, if you have a cure for an illness that is as simple as retraining your brain, and I use the word simple lightly, but wouldn't you want to just give it to people for free, especially if you yourself have gone through that illness and know just how challenging it can be? But I also understand that people are trying to make money in this day and age. I'm trying to see both sides of it. There's just a little bit of skepticism because of all that. All that said, I find Raylan's course to be much more affordable, and I think her personality is very relatable, and her story is relatable as well. So I decided to give it a go, and I kind of want to document my journey of brain retraining as I go through this. And as of right now, I'm only at the very beginning of my experience with brain retraining. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is, how to incorporate it into my daily life, but I do already find it quite interesting. And so I want to do my best to not say anything in Raylan's course that I shouldn't say. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. I just don't want to steal her content and then try to use it on my own channel, if that makes sense. So I want to try to explain what I'm learning, but also not give too much away, if that makes sense. But I think it's at least safe for me to explain a few of the following things. One of the things I've enjoyed about her course is that once you pay for it, you have lifetime access. So there's no membership or monthly fee. You just pay for it once up front, and then you have access to all the videos forever, as well as the support group where you get to talk to other people with chronic fatigue syndrome and long COVID and other similar ailments. And to me, that support group has already been really encouraging, just to be able to talk to other people in a similar boat and suddenly realize that my symptoms are not as crazy as I think they are. For me, this is really the first time in the last 2.5 years I've had the chance to talk to somebody who is also battling with chronic fatigue syndrome. This whole 2.5 years, I feel like I'm sitting in this isolated bubble where I'm battling with this mysterious illness and I don't feel like anyone around me even understands what I'm going through. And it's this new and unknown illness that some people don't even see as valid. And like when you tell someone you have chronic fatigue syndrome, sometimes they've never heard of it. Sometimes they think they have it too. Despite the fact that they went for a hike yesterday, like there's a lot of obstacles around discussing this topic. And so to be able to come together in an environment with other people battling chronic fatigue syndrome is actually very encouraging just by itself. And as for the brain retraining itself, a lot of it seems to really revolve around managing your reaction to your symptoms and having a much more positive reaction to those symptoms. There's also a lot of celebrating your achievements and your wins in the midst of your illness, as well as having a strong and clear vision for the future that you foresee yourself as you continue to recover. So I think I'm safe on everything I just said. Braylon, on the 1 in 2 billion chance that you actually happen to watch this video, I hope that you don't feel like I took anything out of context or stole anything from you. I'm just kind of trying to share my experience as I go through the course, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to do so. Now, as for myself, what are my expectations for going through this brain retraining course? Well, simply put, I don't know. On the one hand, I'm trying to not go in with too many expectations so I don't let myself down or feel disappointed if it doesn't work out. On the other hand, there seems to be a lot of information about brain retraining that really seems to fit my situation. And there's a small piece of me that's optimistic about trying this simply because a lot of the criteria for going through a brain retraining course comes down to the fact that you have chronic fatigue syndrome, but also that you're the kind of patient that after going through every kind of medical test imaginable, you still come back perfectly healthy. But despite that fact, you have all these symptoms that you're battling with on a daily basis. And basically, it's that lack of a diagnosis that informs us that there's some kind of nervous system issue or some kind of issue with our brain's response to everyday life. And so, therefore, we have to retrain it to kind of get back on the rails and respond appropriately to the stresses, joys, and traumas of everyday life. And the longer I've gone through this illness, the more I start to think that there is some kind of mind body connection issue. Initially, when I first got sick, I was convinced, I was like, I had to have got some kind of weird virus, or maybe it's long COVID, or like there has to be something wrong with me. The doctor has to be able to find it. And the longer that this has gone on, the more I start to take a step back and say, hey, you know what? Maybe there is something wrong with the mind body connection, and that I need to work on rewiring that and getting my nervous system response back in check so that it can handle the everyday stresses that come with life. Basically, trying to get my body back to a more neutral state where I'm not so much reacting to everything around me, but rather observing the things that are happening around me and then choosing to react accordingly. Let me try to explain an example of this brain retraining. So, for those of us with chronic fatigue syndrome, our environment often plays a crucial role in how we feel and how our body or how we respond to that environment. So, an example of this would be that you see, if I go for a walk, even a short walk, my body will often respond with symptoms because it thinks I'm in danger, because I'm exerting energy, I'm going outside, I'm physically using my body and exerting energy. And so my body tries to pull me back inside, get me to lay down. It's going to throw in some brain fog and some body twitches and some nausea to try and protect me because somehow my nervous system has got deregulated and now it thinks that everything is a threat. It especially thinks that any kind of physical activity is a threat. And so now what I'm trying to do is that before I go outside for a walk or even while I'm walking, I'm trying to be talking to myself and reminding my nervous system, hey, this is just a walk. It's not going to kill me. I like walking. I get some fresh air. I get to go outside and get in a few steps. This is going to be okay. There's no reason to respond with symptoms. Now, all that sounds a little crazy. It sounds like you're talking to yourself. And you are. You're talking to your nervous system, talking to your brain, and trying to reassure it that the activity you are partaking in is completely safe. And so that is kind of a very basic idea of brain retraining as I understand it right now. I'm at the very beginning of this whole new experience, and so I will likely have more stuff to add to that in the future. This is all just kind of an introduction into my experience with brain retraining, and I hope that you'll come alongside me as I continue down this road and see if and what kind of benefits it might have on my body and on my health. But let me know what you guys think down below. Have you tried brain retraining? Are you skeptical? Have you had a good experience? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below just to see what other people think about this phenomenon. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to give it a shot. I really am. I'm looking forward just to seeing what kind of benefits might come out of it, and really hope to have a good report, not only for you, but also for my friends and family in the coming months. I'm hoping, I'm praying that this is a good step for me and I'm moving in the right direction. All right, that will do it for this one, my friends. I want to thank you, as always, for spending part of your day here with me. If you enjoyed this video or found it encouraging in any way, I would really appreciate it if you were willing to share it with your family and friends, and also maybe consider smacking that like button. It really helps out the channel and makes it much easier for me to continue making these videos, trying to encourage people who are battling with chronic illness. And with that, my friends, please take care of yourselves. God bless you, and we will see you in the next one. Adios.